I'm Symphony Privet. Thank you for joining us here on Featured. We hope to inspire or simply make you smile with uplifting stories across the country. You know, it's never too late to keep going. One Arkansas woman is proving that. At 94 years old, she is still hiking. Maya Ellison introduces us to her story and the friendship that's helping her along the way.
In central Arkansas sits Pinnacle Mountain, a landmark that draws hundreds of thousands each year. But every now and then, you meet someone who stands above the rest.
Am I ready to go?
Meet 94-year-old Teresa Gunther, a Pinnacle native and local historian who knows this land better than most.
The natural steps was truly a step down to the river. Big, huge rocks, kind of a natural formation.
Growing up, the mountain was her playground.
Climbing Pinnacle was one of the things that we all did.
Decades later, she still hasn't stopped climbing. But these days, she doesn't do it alone.
You want to cut over this way?
For the past 12 years, Christoph Block has been right by her side, a neighbor turned family. On her 89th birthday, he joined her on a trek to the top. 5 years later, they did it again.
Like that day, we didn't know if we would make it to the top, but we were going to have a great walk and enjoy ourselves regardless if we made it to the top.
For many, that climb can be a challenge. But no, not for Gunther. It's just another step forward.
I did it.
It was fun to see the joy on her face when we did. And then we stayed on the top for quite a while. Took it all in.
Okay, just wanted you to know I made it to the top. The view is wonderful. I could stay up there half a day and just look around.
So a lot of emotions. Happy for her, happy for me, inspired. I feel like I keep saying that, but it's true. How could you not be? Yeah. So it was good. Just happy to be there with her.
As remarkable as it is, at 94 years old, Gunther is still reaching new heights, proving that what you're capable of doesn't fade with age. And if you ask her, the secret is simple.
Hard work, I guess.
Her story of doing that can inspire people to do the same and to maybe not make excuses for themselves. Or I think a better way to put it is to realize what they're capable of.
I don't think I'm special.
I love you, but you're wrong, Miss Gunther. You're incredibly special.
Thank you.
And this story isn't finished yet. They're already looking ahead to the next climb.
What do you think? Are we going to hike that thing again on your 95th birthday?
We might.
In Little Rock,
We just might.
Maya Ellison.
After a life-changing accident, a Coast Guard veteran is now pedaling thousands of miles up the East Coast to support wounded warriors. She's using her story to inspire others and give back. Here's Haja Ba.
Jody Knox biked from St. Augustine all the way to Jacksonville Beach, a part of her 2,000-plus mile journey to the East Coast, with her final destination being in Maine.
It's a beautiful day, and I rolled into this American Legion post, and they greeted me. Everybody had flags waving. I mean, it just like warmed my heart.
Jody Knox is turning a life-changing setback into a powerful journey of purpose. The Coast Guard veteran is riding more than 2,000 miles from the Florida Keys all the way to Maine in a 42-day trek she calls Wheels of Grit.
I don't even know how to tell you how I'm going to feel. Like if I make it there in that final mile, I'm probably going to cry tears of joy and, I don't know. You can ask me when I finish it, I hope on May 20th.
Knox spent 20 years in search and rescue, but in 2022, a serious bike crash left her with a traumatic brain injury. After months of recovery, including adaptive sports, she says getting back on the bike was one of her biggest challenges.
I didn't even think about it until I started to just miss movement because walking was hard, standing was hard. I used to be a runner. And so getting back on the bike was mentally really hard.
Now she's using every mile to give back, raising more than $8,000 for wounded veterans and spreading a message of resilience along the way.
I put together a little slogan for this campaign, and it's turn I can't into I can try, because I think it's really overwhelming when there's something big you want to do and you feel like you have to say I can before you'd even give it a go. So just go to I can try. I honestly don't know if I'm going to be able to finish this. I'm going to try, and it's my intention. I've put it out to the world, right? So it'll be tough if I don't make it, but I didn't say I can do it. I'm saying I can try.
Knox will continue her journey up north with her final destination in Maine. Reporting in Jacksonville Beach, Hajabah.
Oh, we love it when local young people do well, and this young lady is no exception. She's been confined to a wheelchair her entire life. Yet, what some see as a barrier, she sees as inspiration. Tyler Segerman has her story.
Keep ripping, keep her 20. She's her. She's a superhero, real life superhero. Be proud of yourself. Excellent. What a day. What a day. It's fantastic.
I'm paving way for other seated athletes in the future.
4 years ago, Jenna Gallant entered Pro Day performance seeking a new path.
4 times 6.
It's never the same. Yeah. Every day is different. It's hard, but it's fun.
You're 100 at Columbus, lady.
Over time, her workouts have led to powerful purpose.
Because I've always been like a homebody, so I wanted to get out and show that I'm normal, but in a different way.
Born with spina bifida, a condition where the spinal cord doesn't form properly, Gallant only has use of 2 muscles along with her arms, which makes competing for Eastwood Track and Field even more impressive.
The very first time we put her on the treadmill, and she literally just had to sit there and tread the treadmill. She's given me some quirky looks and some "are you sures?" but every single time, no matter what we've done, she's destroyed the workout. Power, needs something from the abs.
The only seated athlete representing the Toledo area this spring. Gallant has also made a name for herself, becoming the first to do so in Pemberville.
I don't think she gives herself enough credit with, the inspiration that she is, not just to, other athletes that could be bound to a chair, but everybody that comes through here. Bring them down a little bit.
Her impact extends to the sidelines as well, cheering on her fellow classmates and showcasing that pride has no limits.
No matter what, if I'm like them or not, they can do it.
Along with physical strength comes relentless determination.
Perfect. Chilling.
With one final opportunity to compete at state, Gallant is already showing signs that her best is yet to come.
I didn't have the greatest junior year. I didn't PR as much in my shot. And starting off, my first meet, I tied my PR, so it just helps me get excited for the rest of the season.
That was Tyler Segerman reporting from Ohio. Nearly 2 years after a life-changing injury on the job, a police officer in Missouri is back home now. The community is stepping up to celebrate him at a place that means a lot to him and his family. Here's Megan Kernan.
Welcome home, TJ! A long-awaited homecoming. Ferguson police officer Travis TJ Brown back in Ferguson, greeting the community that never stopped rooting for him. And a hero's welcome at the airport. Officers lining up, saluting as he returned home.
No one was standing on that line, wasn't in tears. But they were good tears. They were happy tears.
Happy tears, more than a year and a half in the making. Back in August 2024, TJ suffered a traumatic brain injury when he was knocked to the ground during a protest on the 10th anniversary of Michael Brown's death. At one point, he was in a coma. Since then, he's been recovering at rehab facilities out of state.
We just so happy to have him back here in St. Louis. It almost feel like we just got the heartbeat of our locker room back.
Chief Troy Doyle says TJ has even started talking a little again.
Each and every day he continues to show improvement. As the family have mentioned, he's able to now, taste some of his favorite food.
Including his favorite ice cream at his family shop, Heaven's Creamery. Heaven Davis says she's beyond excited to have her cousin back home.
Every day we would leave the creamery, TJ would come and check on us throughout his shift. He would walk us back to our car. We just miss TJ so much.
Now continuing rehab in St. Louis, closer to family and his daughters.
Well, hopefully him being closer to home will help speed up his recovery because, anybody knows TJ, he loves his family, he loves his community. So being back home, is a huge step forward for us.
I'm so glad that he was able to spend that time with his family as he continues his recovery. Great story from Megan Kernan reporting from St. Louis. Now, TJ's family says that being back home surrounded by all of that support is already making a positive impact on his recovery. So glad to hear that. All right, coming up next on Featured this morning, from losing motivation to finding purpose, how one Texas man is healing and helping others through horses. And one family in Texas refused to let a tragedy steal their spark, how their daughter's candle business became a symbol of strength. Have you discovered your purpose after the hardest moment of his life? A Texas man found his purpose by taking the reins of kindness. Here's Sean Giggy.
I was mumbling, I wasn't focused.
After a massive stroke 5 years ago, 57-year-old George Mendez was totally immobile. Not because he was paralyzed, but because he was crippled with complacency.
I didn't feel like going out. I didn't feel like walking around. I didn't feel like doing anything.
George, a retired New York City cop who was at ground zero after 9/11, always loved helping people.
Yeah, I didn't feel like getting up.
But now,
I just like watching TV.
he found little reason to get off the couch.
He has no purpose. We have to find him purpose.
So, just to get him out of the house, George's wife, Olga, brought him to Main Gate, a therapeutic horse center in McKinney.
Riding.
Just to look at the horses, or so she said.
And I had two hopes. I said, hopefully he's able to volunteer, or he can be a patient.
Reluctantly, George agreed to volunteer, and that was it.
It woke me up. I know my purpose now. I'm thinking about Fino. Good job, Fino.
14-year-old Fino Witten suffered a traumatic brain injury 9 years ago.
Ready to go, Fino?
He's nonverbal, but something about him clearly spoke to George.
And then I looked back at Fino, and he looked at me like this. That's the look I gave to her. Don't give up on me. I was like, I told him, I said, I'm not going to give up on you. I said, I'm not going to give up on you.
And that's why, pretty much every session, George has been by Fino's side.
Good job, Fino.
Before George, Fino had trouble sitting straight and couldn't hold the reins. And now, this.
That's the way you do it.
Fino's grandma, Leslie Witten, says it's unexplainable.
He really sees and feels George's desire to understand him.
I can see it the way Fino responds.
Program director Connie Wagner says George connects with Fino in a way no other volunteer can.
He got a big smile on his face. It was awesome.
But George sees it differently.
Helping him helped me. Seeing that smile he has on his face every day is the greatest feeling in the world.
All he wanted to do was sit, but he's now clearly riding high.
You got a great day today, Fino.
In McKinney.
Great day today.
I'm Sean Giggy.
Great story there. One family's small business in Texas is getting a second chance after life took a sudden turn. What started as a simple idea during the pandemic is becoming something so much more personal. Michael Courier shares how one teenager is turning hardship into hope.
It makes me feel happy, strong.
You ready to make a candle?
Yeah.
All right.
In a small workspace inside her home,
I mean, doing this whole business with my dad.
Lily Trevino is finding her way back.
It's taking me to a different world right now.
Just a few years ago, her parents say Lily's future felt uncertain.
So we were at the park, and then she said, I don't feel good, I need to sit down. All of a sudden she passed out on the ground, and I'm like, you know, I'm freaking out. I have no idea what's going on.
What started as a fever quickly churned into something much more serious.
And she had her first major seizure. That's pretty much where everything really started in terms of the nightmare. And she started having seizure after seizure. They weren't stopping.
Doctors would later diagnose Lily with Fires, a rare neurological condition that changed everything.
It's basically an acquired epilepsy from an illness. It becomes a traumatic brain injury. It's basically life-altering. It can be deadly.
At just 14 years old, Lily was placed into a medically induced coma.
The first few days were rough.
When they woke her up, it was like opening a package. You don't know what's inside. You have no idea what she's gonna remember.
And what came back was still Lily.
The hand of God came down and touched our daughter, because there's no other explanation as to why she came out the other side of this as good as she is now.
I always tell her that she's the strongest person I know.
Strong enough to relearn how to walk, to talk, to live again.
We didn't know if she was going to be disabled, because some of the kids that have fires end up being in a wheelchair for the rest of their life, unable to do things, comprehend things, able to walk. Lily did all those things.
And now,
you can adjust it if you need to.
Strong enough,
it's her business,
to build something of her own.
My goal is to get her 100% involved to the point where she's actually doing everything on her own, and I'm just assisting her.
I want to do it.
Okay.
The Treviños first started their candle business during COVID, but put everything on hold during Lily's fight. Now, 3 years later, they're starting over.
Little thing that we're doing right now, I would love it to grow.
All right.
Her parents say this isn't just about candles. It's about giving their daughter every chance at a full life.
I know that she's going to be successful. I know that she's going to live a wonderful life, and I'm just here to see it. And I'm going to help her get to that point.
One candle at a time.
I just love it.
That was Michael Courier reporting. The family says their goal is to grow the business while Lily's recovery continues one step at a time. They also tell us they hope this story inspires others facing the unimaginable. Wow. Already still to come, he flew more than 1,500 miles for dinner, but for this man, it's not just a meal, it's a celebration of those who helped him when he needed it most. We'll share the remarkable story behind this annual tradition. And ahead in our next half hour, an Indiana man is turning his pain into purpose with a new mission, what inspired him and how it is taking him around the world. A scary moment has now led to a lasting tradition. A few years ago, two men were enjoying the French Quarter Festival in New Orleans when one suffered a medical emergency and the other stepped in to save his life. Here's Meg Ferris with more.
Martin Schlesinger came out of retirement to do something he loves, detail and ceramic coat cars. But he never could have imagined that his 30 years prior in the safety and rescue training industry would one day connect him to Larry Hansen, a friend who flies in from his home in Cape Cod every single April to take Martin to dinner.
He cries every time we go through this every year at dinner. And as soon as we go to dinner, first thing he tells the lady waiting on us, he goes, "This guy saved my life."
It was 9 years ago when they both happened to be among the thousands at the French Quarter Fest.
It all happened right about here where Decatur Street splits. Larry's wife and daughter had gone off to get ice cream and he decided to wait behind. And that's when he collapsed.
I was standing by the sidewalk listening to Zydeco music, which was pretty nice as I remember. And the lights went out. I came to in the hospital, and the first thing I said along the way was to my wife, "Am I dreaming?"
Larry was in cardiac arrest. Martin jumped into action doing CPR. Friend Joe ran to get police and EMS. A man ran out of the building with a defibrillator. A trauma physician and two nurses also jumped in.
We were tapping each other out, great that they were there.
EMS had to shock Larry and use 3 injections to restart his heart. In the weeks following, he went through a stroke, got a pacemaker, had heart bypass and valve replacement surgery. It took him 8 months to have the inner strength to talk to Martin on the phone.
The emotional part it's just different. why am I here? Why did I not die? And I couldn't handle it.
Now, on the anniversary of his rebirth, Larry breaks bread with Martin at a different New Orleans restaurant. Several years ago, the entire team that just happened to all be in the right place gathered to be honored. Still, at that annual dinner, Larry says the same question weighs heavily on his mind.
Why am I here? What do you tell that person? I said, God has a plan for you. You got to believe in God because this was not an accident.
People in the medical field have told Larry over and over that people with widowmakers usually don't make it. Retelling this nearly decade-old story tugs at Martin's emotions as well.
To see that person every year and hearing his voice and all that is a celebration of life every time. It still touches your heart. He has a sign in his front yard of his house that says, I believe in miracles, I'm one.
Meg Farris.
So glad that that man was at the right place at the right time, and now they can celebrate together. Still ahead, a surprise reunion between a daughter and her dad after he got back home from deployment. Oh, I love these stories. Every single time we will show you the emotional moment. Plus, no doctors, no medicine, just music. How these brain injury survivors are reclaiming their voices. Next. Thank you for staying with us on Featured. I'm Symphony Privet, and we are continuing to bring you uplifting stories across the country. A hospital in Virginia is becoming a place of healing in more than one way, not through medicine, but through community. For the people you're about to meet, it's helping them find inspiration they thought they'd lost. Sean Martinelli shows us how.
At this Leesburg, Virginia hospital, there is no admission to this conference room concert. Free to attend, and yet for these participants, the price to be here was high.
Hemorrhage, stroke. I developed POT syndrome.
I've had 3 traumatic brain injuries and long COVID.
Their injuries, while different, led them to this same place.
We're the Brain Choir. You want to join us?
Everybody help me down.
The Brain Choir formed here at Inova Loudon back in 2015, a place with those with brain injuries to find joy and heal.
This is just a conference room, and we come in and I feel like we fill it with so much life, and I feel like this group helps me remember what my values are and how I want to live outside of just this room.
Casey Kidwell Ross and Mowgli Hassan lead the weekly sessions.
It's the highlight of my week.
Of his week and theirs.
It's a joy. This group is a joy.
There's days when I'm not okay, even if I look okay, and this group accepts me however I am.
It's not something I ever saw myself doing, ever. I never saw myself really singing.
The music, it's a feeling in my heart that just makes me feel whole.
Those here say the Brain Choir allowed them to find something they once thought was gone.
The caregiver for everyone. She took care of our family and friends.
Her mind marred by a chronic disorder called POTS, Stephanie Alicia wrote this song. It's about her late mom.
Wrapped in warm embrace, a gentle hum fills my heart. Heartbeats blend as one.
Despite all their injuries took away.
Everybody.
This is a weekly celebration not of what's been lost, but what's left.
The beauty that remains.
One more time. La, 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 la. Nice job, everybody.
In Leesburg, Virginia, Sean Martinelli.
Great story from Sean there, and it just proves how powerful music really is, whether It's a song that makes you feel good or another song that makes you think of a loved one. There is something out there for everyone. All right, we are now introducing you to a man in a fight he never thought he'd have to wage. The fight to find a cure for cancer after losing his wife to the disease 7 years ago. Emily Longnecker explains how his mission is taking him all over the world.
It starts the same way every morning, with one small step out the door. And with every step that comes after the first one, 41-year-old Alex Baker is moving forward in his life.
I like to say that forward is a pace.
A pace Alex been setting since 2019.
2019 Alex never wanted to get off the couch.
But you're looking at the two reasons why he did. His late wife Amanda, who died that year at 36 from colorectal cancer, and his son Riley, who was just 4 at the time.
The day after Amanda died, I had to tell our son that she was gone. And he shouldn't lose another parent because I couldn't take care of myself.
The moment changed everything.
It's like climbing Mount Everest, to get up off the couch and go do something.
For Alex, the grief over losing Amanda, now facing life as a single parent, was his Mount Everest. And the journey to conquering it started with one step.
First a mile, then 2, then a 5K.
7 years later, he's still climbing. The journey has now taken Alex across the country.
This is the bib from New York. This was my first major race.
And across an ocean, running marathons.
Berlin was the toughest race I have done.
With each race, Alex raised money for cancer research and to help families fighting the disease. Almost $50,000 to date, with over 4,000 miles behind him.
For me, it helps make the miles mean something different. That means something more. That I'm running these miles and fighting back against cancer.
He's not alone in doing it. His fiancée, Lindsay, is now part of the journey.
She's on my sidelines, both, at a race and in life.
In fact, Lindsay was with Alex at a July 4th parade that helped inspire the foundation he launched this past December.
We swore somebody was handing out ketchup packets, and we just thought, wouldn't that be funny to go to a parade and hand out ketchup?
For some reason, the thought stuck with him.
So I was out mowing. Ketchup, 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 ketchup to cancer. That's it. I come inside and I tell Lindsay, ketchup to cancer. And it's the first spark.
A spark that started with posting on social media, to raising money, handing out ketchup packets at local parades, to starting his own foundation, Ketchup to Cancer.
I hate ketchup, but I hate cancer more. And that became the tagline.
An ironic place to be for a guy who never uses ketchup and never thought he'd be running marathons around the world.
I don't think I'm special. I don't think I'm extraordinary. I'm a guy who wants to remember his late wife, who wants to honor her legacy, who wants to show our son that we can do some good in the world.
That something good can come from your greatest pain. Sometimes getting there takes longer.
Who cares what your finish time is? Just keep moving.
One step at a time. Forward is a pace. In Brownsburg, Emily Longnecker.
People in Idaho gathered at a local tattoo shop for free child abuse awareness and prevention tattoos. It was called Ink for Awareness. They all had their own reasons for being there. Maggie O'Mara has the story and the powerful reason behind it.
All of these people are crowding into Electric Sin Tattoo on Vista in Boise for free tattoos. Yes, absolutely free.
We're doing Ink for Awareness. So we're doing pinwheel and flash blue ribbons for child abuse awareness today.
A permanent symbol to find solutions to a real problem here in Idaho.
This is really important because abuse is everywhere. It's not talked about a lot. And these ribbons and pinwheels are just symbols. They're conversation starters, but most importantly, to survivors, they're a symbol that their community loves them and cares about what they've been through.
Christopher Stewart and the Good Network organized Ink for Awareness.
The response has been overwhelmingly positive. People are down here for different reasons. Advocates are down here to show support, but survivors are down here to get them because a lot of times this is healing. It covers up literally emotional and physical scars. And for a lot of survivors, it's also a small way that they can fight back.
Travis has his own reasons to be here.
I know several child abuse victims. My younger brother is one. I'm a father of 6 children, and I can't imagine them going through anything like that. I'm here just to show my support. I think it's a very important message that we can send out to know that, you know, anybody that does go through abuse or anything like that, they're not alone. We're here for them.
Ashley Morris is just one of the tattoo artists at this shop donating her time and talent to this truly beautiful idea.
I have a history myself with domestic violence, so it started there and it's kind of trickled. It's really just to spread awareness and help people heal and move forward.
The artists down here at Electric Sin really just represent Boise in the community that we have. Once we came up with the idea, it was so easy to get them on board. There was no convincing, it was just right away. Let's do this, let's dedicate our time, let's get this message out. They all have a why, they all have a reason that they're doing this.
The tattoo shop stayed open until everyone who wanted a tattoo got one. So many powerful conversations had and personal stories shared.
A lot of times people keep secrets, and a lot of times people are scared to talk to who they need to. And events like this kind of create an environment where it's okay to talk, it's okay to get help.
This event shows that there is power in numbers.
Abuse awareness is something that we can all take part in to help make it better.
To everyone who worked to make Ink for Awareness happen, especially the artists.
I think that it's great that they're here to do that. I think they're just wonderful, beautiful people.
That was Maggie O'Mara reporting from Idaho. A service member surprised his daughter at her high school in Illinois after he spent months overseas. Here's Jonah Krell with why this homecoming was extra special.
A typical Monday lunch hour in the Rock Island High School cafeteria is soon to change. Staff Sergeant Eli Phipps is home from his 4th and final deployment overseas and has come to surprise his daughter Patricia.
It's going to be it's going to be a little bit mixed emotions, a little bit of happy, a little bit crying emotion. I'm a crybaby. I'm a cry. So is my daughter. So
it's been over 9 months since he last saw his daughter.
It's been an emotional time for her while I've been away, but the fact that to me to be able to be home, finally be home, and see and surprise her at a high school, our freshman year in high school, it means a lot to me.
It'll be the final surprise visit Phipps will need to make. He's looking forward to being a normal dad for a change.
And me for actually to really be home and start a normal routine and don't have to worry about leaving my daughter again for a long period of time and spend the rest of her high school years with her and actually being home stateside, it means even that much more than any other deployment that I've ever been in.
And the plan, foolproof.
I know you FaceTimed me.
I was really surprised because I thought he wasn't going to come to like the end of the school year, but I'm really glad that he came back and stuff. That's really nice.
They share a special bond.
We're like, we act a lot like each other. We both like sports and stuff.
I'm just better at it.
I want to say so.
And even a nickname.
Now be home. I won't miss no more basketball games or anything else like that. So I'm pretty excited about this upcoming season now. So be on the lookout for Bubba, Patricia. I'm sorry.
Okay.
In Rock Island, Jonah Krell.
As a military kid, I will always love seeing those surprise homecoming stories. Still ahead, a cafe in Georgia run entirely by people with disabilities. It now has a nearly 100-person wait list. How it's pushing a statewide shift. And meet the teenage drummer who can't decide between heavy metal and smooth jazz. Hear his message about what music has taught him about life. Welcome back. A small coffee shop is sparking a big shift across Georgia, helping businesses open their doors to a workforce that's too often overlooked. One program is turning opportunity into action, one hire at a time. Here's Caitlin Ross.
The silverware on Ryan Matthews' shift shines.
Make sure they're nice and lined up.
And so does he at Off the Rails restaurant in Buford.
I'm making lime juice.
Ryan is proud of his work. He just needed someone to give him the chance.
It means a whole lot. It means I have to work hard every day. Give it all I got.
That chance came through a new program started just down the street at Brightside Cafe.
Anything else, ma'am? That is it, darling.
A coffee shop run entirely by adults with special needs.
Here's your drink. You're welcome.
But even Brightside can't keep up with the demand.
We have a wait list of 75 people. Special Needs and Treats has a wait list of 157. A lot of our guys are part-time workers.
So founders Jennifer Ellenberg and Carrie Walton created the Brightside Empowerment Ability Network.
Everybody has different things they can offer.
Training businesses across Georgia how to hire, support, and succeed with employees like Ryan.
They're up for the task and they know how to do it. They're dedicated, loyal, and they want to be at work on time, early, even every day.
Hey everybody, I got you some chips and salsa.
When Off the Rails said yes, manager Dylan Gilmet says it changed everything.
I think he works harder than anybody else in here. I mean, he's consistent. He's always asking me to find more work to do.
And it's not just Ryan who's growing.
It just changes the atmosphere, and having him smile all the time and just laughing all the time, and you hear him laugh, throughout the restaurant.
A workplace transformed by one hire.
My job is always helping people, helping them out, doing whatever it takes.
And for Ryan,
so let's get to it.
A chance he's determined to make count.
That was Caitlin Ross reporting from Atlanta. Brightside is helping more businesses say yes, connecting them with workers ready and waiting for their chance. Now, because for so many, it's just not about ability, it is about opportunity. A teenage drummer is combining his love for heavy metal music with jazz. That's an interesting combination there. Here's Jeff Zevely with more about the spectrum of sound.
They tell you in life at some point you need to pick a lane. But when you're a young musician, it's okay to just bang away until it feels right.
There's something about playing deathcore that makes this 16-year-old drummer, Brixton Harper, feel alive.
It's like death metal mixed with hardcore.
Here at Rock and Roll San Diego, the walls are lined with musicians who like it loud. Brixton's deep into a heavy metal phase, but that wasn't always the case.
I first met Brixton 4 years ago when he was 12. That's when he was playing drums for a band called the Kid Tributes.
The colorful band dressed up as Elton John and Hall & Oates, but not Brixton.
I'm a drummer, so...
Brixton has always been a man of few words. But get him behind a drum set, and he has plenty to say. Which leads us back to the deathcore and how much he loves whacking these drums.
It's basically his life. He's been playing since he was 6, and he's 16.
Brixton's mom, Allie, told us her son wants to be a well-rounded drummer, but he was lukewarm when it came to an introduction to jazz.
He's like, oh, jazz, that's not my thing. He's been told, if you can play jazz, you can play anything.
Following his metal session, Brixton and his mom head to their second session of the day here at Liberty Station.
Music is music. It's kind of whatever works for you.
Craig Murray from Young Lions Jazz Conservatory told me Brixton picked the two most challenging styles of music.
Both are very difficult as far as drums are concerned. If you're going to pick two as far as the drum set, I'd pick metal and jazz.
Here the walls are lined with the best in jazz, and to play for this school, every musician needs to read sheet music. Brixton can do just that and was welcomed with open arms.
Musicians are very inclusive people.
Now this teenager wants to become both a jazz man and a metalhead, just as long as he can play music.
Makes me happy. I mean, it's my life.
Just think how much we all could learn if we opened our ears to what we share in common instead of listening to our differences.
Music is like for everyone.
In the Zevely Zone, Jeff Zevely.
I have to say, combining a love of heavy metal and jazz is something interesting. There's all kinds of, jazz fusions out there, but cannot wait to see what that young man is doing in maybe the next 5 to 10 years. All right, stay with us. We have more for you right on the other side of this break. From the open road to a one-of-a-kind getaway, we'll take a look at the very unusual hotel that's giving guests a true taste of Idaho. A unique hotel in Idaho might make you hungry. It's shaped as a giant potato and it has lived a lot of life. Here's Abby Wilt with the spud-tacular details.
Every year, a giant potato travels across the United States to advertise for Idaho. Now, one of those potatoes is actually an Airbnb that you can stay in.
And a lot of people just stop by to see it. It's like a roadside attraction.
Just about 30 minutes outside of Boise, in rural Idaho, sits a hotel that is hard to miss.
They were kind of doing it as a joke. She loves Idaho, loves the potatoes.
It's a giant
This is a russet
potato.
It's something unique, part of history. It's part of Idaho. It's very much part of Idaho.
Christy Wolf started the Idaho Potato Hotel in 2019, but her dad, Frank Wolf, says the potato had a long life before that.
A nice couple from Weiser, Idaho, had built this potato to go on the back of the big truck.
That big truck was with the Idaho Potato Commission. The commission takes a giant potato across the U.S. to advertise for Idaho. So this one that we're sitting in has traveled all over the world.
They went to the Kentucky Derby, the Indianapolis 500, those big events, but they also just went to little Walmarts and grocery stores and things like that.
After 7 years of touring,
When it was on tour, people said, well, is it real? They said, well, it's a real replica.
this specific spud reached its expiration date.
They retired this potato from the truck because they wanted a more roadworthy one made out of fiberglass instead of concrete and plaster.
Christy had already started designing tiny homes and turning them into Airbnbs. She also worked for the Potato Commission and had the dream of turning the potato into a place to stay.
She said, hey, I've got Airbnbs, I got a couple of them by this time, and they're doing really well. And she showed them, the Potato Commission, some results of her Airbnbs, and they gifted her this potato.
She renovated the whole inside of the potato, adding insulation, electricity, water, and adding a modern touch.
She does most of the building herself, and she comes up with great ideas.
And just about a 10-foot walk from the potato is a grain silo that she turned into an upscale bathroom.
And it's got a shower and a tub, and it's just a lot of people like that experience. You got bathrobes and slippers for them.
Here, Dolly! The property also comes with Dolly, the cow, who moseys around the potato, keeping guard over the property.
She saw this little Jersey cow that was a year or two old, and she said, that would be good.
Hi, Dolly. The potato, with its unique accommodations, is rooting in visitors from around the globe.
So people just come by, oh, hey, there's a big Idaho potato hotel. Let's go look at it. And they'll just stop by and look.
It's almost always fully booked, and Wolf says it's a place to relax, get away, and get a true taste of Idaho.
I don't think there is another potato like this in the world.
It's not just an Idaho potato Airbnb you get to stay at, but you also get to hang out with Dolly the cow. For Exploring Idaho, Abby Wilt.
All right, I guess that just goes to show that you can't judge a book by its cover. The inside's definitely a lot nicer than the outside. I need some potato-themed meal, too. I would love that if I stayed there. All right, that's it for this episode of Featured. Until next time, make it a great one.